He's gonna open the door. Wow. Hold on, I'm on my way. Oh my god, I can't remember the password. Hold on! $19. Oh, I can't remember it. Hello.
Hello.
I'll put the statue over here to open the door.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Some help?
yes, please. Just open it wide so there's 5 of you, isn't there? Are you 5 or 4?
Four. Today's Toby Kevin.
I'll take you straight to the room that you want to have a look at.
Thank you.
So this is
I'm
the
Casey, by the way. This is Dawn, and then Toby.
okay. Introduce yourself now.
Hello, Casey.
You're Casey.
This is Dawn from Three Rivers.
Hello.
We spoke on the phone Friday.
Dan from Three Rivers.
Daniel.
Yeah. And
This is Toby.
Toby. Yeah.
UK.
Yeah. So there's been no plan, only concepts for the whole month of May regarding the repair of this. I was told that one of the surveyors left, which was Kieran. He's left Thrive Homes. So I was expecting Toby with Casey on the 20th of May. However, Toby was cancelled because I didn't want to see Casey. Yeah, because you've made me a sole point of contact.
I didn't.
It was your manager that made you.
So it's gone up to director's level and then it's fed back down to me, so that's how.
Yeah, and I don't think that's fair because I haven't spoken to your manager, who is Anne.
So Anne's above.
She's above Sam, yeah.
She's at the higher level.
So she's made a decision without speaking to me, and I don't think that's fair. So that's what I have. That's the information I have behind why it's taken a whole month to have this room restored. You can see the floors have been removed, and the ceiling is sort of like an umbrella shape. And I kept calling Thrive Homes because I was worried the ceiling would collapse. And I also, for my safety as well, that if I came in here, it may collapse on me. So I avoided this room. And I was told that the ceiling is stone, which is concrete, had a second opinion, who is a professional, who had said that that is not concrete, it is plasterboard.
I agree with that. It looks like it's plasterboard.
Are you Toby?
I'm Toby.
Okay.
It looks like it's plasterboard prefix and timber joists underneath. You've got a concrete floor, of course.
Yeah.
So if you're on a mid-floor party, you've got you see a wood concrete, but not as printed.
Yeah. So this was my main master room where I had my bed in here.
Okay.
It was moved into the room behind you, which is, so this is the front facing of the building, of this building block of flats.
Is this the one? It's a two, isn't it?
This is 2 bedroom, yeah. So this is my main room. So they've moved things in boxes and bags. You had 3 reports. There was one from Garston, from the fire brigade, one from Watford, from the fire brigade, and one from Rickmansworth. The 2 reports were positive. One of the report was negative. You told me that it was very negative and it affected my tenancy, which is very worrisome. Do you have that copy on you?
No, because it was sent in an email. So the email came in directly from them.
Yeah. From who? Is it Rickmansworth?
From the fire service. They cover 3 rivers as a whole.
There are 3 stations. There's one in Rickmansworth, one in Watford, and one in Garston.
The whole, so it's not the individual.
It wasn't the whole because they gave me a positive report.
The report that we had was that obviously there were concerns about the hoarding, there were concerns about...
There was no hoarding.
There were concerns about the property condition.
Well, the condition is it was flooded, so they can't expect perfect conditions in a flood and things going absolutely chaotic because of the emergency. Things were moved around, so they can't expect perfect conditions, and I think that's unfair judgment. I also think it's unfair that they've put this information in the fire brigade report about electrical blanket. I don't have an electrical blanket. And if I use candles, I normally use tea candles that go inside my big candles with the battery on there. So they're tiny little candles which are battery operated. So I don't use candles. That's another disinformation in their report. All of it's wrong.
What we've been told, you've got to understand that we're working in partnerships. So the same as if you've got police reports or ambulance or fire brigade, we have to act on that.
So that was a default. That was a default report, and I don't want it touching my tenancy. You told me it touched my tenancy.
There's concerns around your tenancy if that's what they are raising.
Yeah, well, it's wrong. It's disinformation.
I think from just being in here, obviously I can see that there are a few flies. There is some property conditioning that we could look at resolving.
There's no mould in here. It had a dehumidifier. That was a separate job task to collect, and it was cancelled. It wasn't cancelled by me. It was cancelled by Thrive Homes. Yeah, if you just let me finish, it was cancelled by Thrive Homes. So separate from the 20th of June, when you were coming with Toby, someone else was going to come separate from that date to collect the equipment. No one collected it. So the situation is blamed on me through your fire brigade negative report, which again is not fair. Why you left me for so long. So the reason why I was calling is because I wanted the council to issue an improvement notice to Thrive Homes, because I shouldn't have been left a whole month with absolutely no help at all to move the bed out of the balcony room. Because it was an emergency, they put things in boxes and bags, and then they left me in the other emergency room because two of the rooms have been flooded from the bad tank. And so that's the reason why I made many calls. And I was also making inquiries that when my bed was here, if I opened the window for fresh air, some woman would leave the dog poop under the window. And it was causing me distress because I suffer with vitamin D deficiency because I'm mainly housebound. So I'd like to open the window for some fresh air, not to smell dog poop. So they then forwarded me to online incident reports. So when I have my laptop at the moment, I'm waiting for that to be delivered, I can then send off the incident reports. That's a separate external problem which you have merged, or Thrive Homes had attempted to merge my external with the internal problem in the same month. And I don't think that's fair. So I don't want to make any complaints because I'm not very well to make complaints. I just simply want people to get their jobs done, and to have correct information about me. That's all I want, to be fair. Regarding my mental health assessments, I've gone over to PAL to complain against mental health because I'm not using them for 6 or 7 years now, since the death of my ex-husband, which again, it's a wrong diagnosis and wrong treatment of the NHS, which was a total chaos and a total mess. So I'm going through PALs about that, which has nothing to do with the fire brigade or you to do mental health assessments on me. It's not fair for you to do that on me, since you're not psychiatrists. So most people are panicked when something like this happens. And to say that I'm insane or that I'm not making any sense doesn't make any fair judgment.
No one has said that, okay? Can I explain that from our perspective, okay?
Yeah.
So the tenancy as a whole is to do with not only structural, so yes, I completely agree. This needs sorting. I acknowledge that, I get that.
Yeah.
It also is to do with the condition of the property, if there's any antisocial behaviour. There's a whole
that should never be merged. That's my point.
That's what it is. In the tenancy, it's just one big
in the tenancy, yes, but not when it comes to communicating with other professionals. It has nothing to do with my tenancy.
So many people being contacted that's why the point of contact was given, so that everyone can be singing off the same hymn sheet, everyone knows what we're doing. Otherwise,
without me in it. So no one spoke to me. No one spoke to me. It was all done behind my back. So you were all about concepts and ideas about who I am, how dirty my home is and it's hoarded, which is all disinformation, that you should put blame on me somehow for a crisis situation, that you should take a crisis situation as an opportunity to label me whatever, to say, oh, it's somehow my fault. None of this is my fault.
This isn't my fault. I get that.
Yeah, but why was it delayed to get any help? The reason why I kept ringing you is because you kept saying, I didn't know that one of your workers had left the company who was Kieran. I found out in the middle of May. So I kept calling to ask to make inquiries whether you received my payment. So you also want a document to say that I'm not paying an under occupancy fee. That was confirmed, so I'll give you a copy of that today. But as regards to all these allegations of neighbours talking a bit about me, it's not fair because I went over as for the first time, making inquiries. Where does that ball come from that keeps kicking into my balcony? Why are they breaking the building rules? So I'm doing the right thing and accused of doing the wrong thing by accusations and people who don't even know me, which is totally wrong and bizarre. So you're taking sides with people who are homeowners and you discriminate deliberately against people who are not homeowners. That's what I'm seeing here.
I understand that's how you might feel, but that isn't the case. I have a job to do which is just bounded by the tenancy, ASB law, and making sure that homes are accepted.
So I did the right thing contacting the fire brigade. I also did the right thing contacting you once a week, every week, which was at the beginning and the end of at the end and the beginning of every week, chasing you up for the whole month of May. There's nothing disorderly or antisocial.
You called in and said that you didn't want to be contacted till the 2nd of June. So that's why.
Because I'm on holiday.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Not 2nd of June. I meant to say I am planning to leave from June until July.
Because in the notes that we received, it said that
no, I'm talking about the May, from the beginning of May until the end of May. I kept calling you in, and then your company, which is Thrive Home, has said I shouldn't have called in.
It was the nature. It wasn't what you were saying. It was the amount of calls that we had coming in. Because it was calls to myself, it was calls to Toby, it was calls to different departments.
Yeah, they kept saying someone would call me back and no one would call me back.
But it's a 5-day callback, so some days it wasn't allowing 5 days. So please don't feel like we're not against you, we want to resolve this situation, we want to sort this out. Okay, we also want to make sure that the property
To be fair to me, Toby, have I ever spoken to you before?
This is the first time I've spoken.
Thank you. So I was not aware that Kieran had left. I was told by Charlie that someone would come here in the same week to let me know about my situation for compensation, to let me know about the situation about moving my bed out of the flooded area. Both of the rooms were flooded. So it's not an ideal situation to remain in that bad memory where I was stuck in the same bad memory of being constantly threatened that ceiling may collapse and I'm having to sleep under that ceiling, and you wasn't taking it seriously. And that's why I kept phoning. I still haven't got a call back so I started at the beginning of the week, then I started again at the end of the week. Nothing. They've completely ignored me and did absolutely nothing for the whole month of May. And then I said the last week I'm available is the first week of June, and then I'm going to be taking time out.
Well, I've spoken to you in May. We've had 2 conversations during May.
Yeah.
Where we have spoke. But I think it was.
It was one-sided. You were doing investigation. You were doing investigations about what other people have said.
I'm saying something quite offensive. I'm not here to attack you. I'm not here to make you feel the type of way. I'm just here to get the facts of what he was doing and the situation that's occurred. I was allocated from above, okay, to look at your case because you didn't want to have Samantha.
I've mentioned there were some children climbing over the fence. It's an external problem. It's nothing to do with this crisis. You then said that management above you, I've got to open the window, it's too stuffy in here. You then said the management above you is taken over, so I have no choice in the matter but to work with you. Even after I sensed that you wanted to incriminate me for being antisocial. I'm not antisocial.
I have to discuss
So he was breaking the building rules. I have never said children are antisocial. You've put those words into my mouth. I have said that the parents are responsible and Thrive Homes are responsible to find out where they're coming from. I've taken videos which I will post to Thrive Homes to see the children climbing over that fence. So I cautioned them, I asked them to move away from the area because that fence can collapse and fall on the children and harm the children and is damaging property. They're not supposed to play football in the bin area and in the laundry area. So that's what I told you, but you then instead, I know what you said, that somehow I'm being antisocial. That's the problem with me.
What I said was, we can't incriminate children for antisocial behaviour, playing with the ball and things like that.
I didn't
say you said that. I'm saying ASB law. That's what it stipulates. You can't give an antisocial behaviour to a child if they're playing football. Yes, we can have a look and see who the parents are and ask them nicely to have a word. But that's
you deviated from the subject. That was not on the subject. That I wasn't making queries. I wasn't making queries about your policies.
Trying to deal with the situation.
I was not making queries about your policies. I was simply stating the fact. This is the situation. This is happening. It's disturbing my peace. I have vitamin D deficiency. It's the first time I'm going out on the balcony to enjoy some sunshine and peace and quiet. The children out there every 2 hours extremely loud, as if it's a football pitch. So I've noticed there is an improvement. They've sort of deterred from coming too close to the balcony and the bin area and the laundry area. I've noticed there's an improvement, but they're still extremely loud. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's made the complaint. I'm sure other people have made complaints.
And that's what's difficult, because I'm not saying I disbelieve you, but noise as well, children's noise, playing noise, and I know John will probably be able to verify, you have what's called domestic noise hours. So between the hours of 7 a.m. and 11 p.m.
In the weekends, it happens in the morning, in the afternoon, the evening. All through.
Domestic noise, can happen between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. You are going to expect some noise. You're going to be expecting.
But not all the time, and not excessive noise of screaming and shouting on the top of their voice.
In terms of
that is very bad.
In terms of the council, we don't even look at children's noise.
And this is what I was trying to explain to you. It's not us being difficult. That is what law is,
Well, it's a bad law because how are they not considering anybody else? There's elderly people and sick people that live in the area.
Being considerate isn't.
I'm normally awake at night because of the pain I've got. So, it's very painful for me to be awake at night, take my medication, and then not being able to even have any rest and have to wear earplugs and have my ears bleed wearing earplugs and getting ear infections so I don't have to listen to them and shut my windows and shut my door. That is antisocial behaviour because the parents have allowed them to do that. And also, there should be a law. It should be incriminated.
And that's what we're working off. And I get how, it makes you feel at the same time, but I can completely be honest and say no one else has reported the kids, no one else has reported the noise.
No, I have heard somebody shout at them. I heard a man shout at them. And I heard a woman shout at them, "What are you doing?" I've heard others complain directly in their face. They didn't contact you. So obviously I had the courtesy to contact Thrive and let them know that was happening. I've also got video evidence.
If you can send that,
and then you said I shouldn't be videoing anyone. So when my liberty is threatened or when I feel that building rules are being broken, I have to therefore video.
No.
So
what I said was, you had a neighbour that you said you went up to them and you videoed them because
I was making inquiries. I wanted to know whose children they are and where the ball's coming from.
Consent in their face, okay? That was the report. So what you need to understand is if someone was doing that to you, I would give them exactly the same advice. Just be mindful because they could start making allegations that they feel they're being harassed.
Well, what about her banging hysterically at my door when the shower leaks, that you have left me without a shower for 3 years? Excuse me, you left me without a shower for 3 years. Even murderers and convicted criminals in prison have better sanitation than I do. All right, I do bed baths as a disabled person anyway, but that's not the point. The principle is I should be able to have a safe environment where I could wash. You rejected the money from, it was another surveyor given money funds for disability funds.
Just me.
I know, but let me finish. I know it's nothing to do with you, Casey. Okay, the other people involved backdated to 6 or 7 years ago. Money was provided, and it was rejected by Thrive Homes because they said I was unemployed and that I was underoccupied. So these are really bad reasons why they rejected that money to provide me a wet room. And it's very horrific for me because I haven't been able to use the shower since. Your many, many, many disrepairs and your many, many broken promises. Like last year, I was promised by Samantha that that's going to be refurbished. And then they changed their mind and said it was another repair. Workers came and started working on the kitchen window and the bathroom window, which has nothing to do with the floor. So the priorities were wrong. It was all mismanaged. It was as if she had double systems, and it caused me double trouble. Every time the workers came here, they didn't know what they were doing. They had no communications from Samantha. They didn't know who Samantha or who Stephen was, who I had meetings with. So again, I'm being blamed, and again, you said that I didn't allow you to come in, that's why you couldn't do anything. So again, I'm being blamed again and again. I let people come in for meetings as long as they know what it's about. I don't let people come in if they don't recognise who it is and what they're supposed to do.
I think there's been access issues in the past.
So the communication has been broken down because of Samantha, and I told you the complaints I had Samantha. So the solution to the overall thing is my GP has said no complaints. So you'll have a letter from my GP to say no complaints. And just now that you've had this meeting today, to move forwards, because I don't want this worst case situation to reflect badly on the bathroom situation, because it's very much the similar thing. And it's broken my heart. I've been very upset, but I cannot wash. I've fallen over twice. I've wasted £1,000 on private solicitors for nothing. And that was 7 years ago. And so it's still the same case. They came here and measured the doors for the shower, and they disappeared. They vanished.
That's why I brought Toby, because we need to make a list of what needs doing and what
So
doesn't need
they
doing.
measured the doors, and the doors are still broken.
I'm just interject there for a second.
Yeah.
I think the biggest obstacle I see for
I need to sit. I need to sit down. If you don't mind, we'll move to the dining. We'll move to the dining room, or then get you to sit down. So these are my bin area. I have a private bin man. You can see the lids are shut. Can you see the bins?
I think this is kind of where I was saying about tenancy.
So this is where the bins are.
They were referring to sort of the fact of having bins.
I can't carry the bins. I can't. No, it's nothing to do with the flies. The flies come in from outside. It's not the bins. You're not listening. The bins are shut. The doors are shut. So anything wet, such as vegetables, peelings and fruits, are duplicated in 2 or 3 bags. So little fruit pests cannot come out. So these big flies are not fruit flies. They're coming from outside, okay? So do come in the sitting room.
Is your sink blocked?
Yeah, the sink is also blocked. So nothing works.
This is why
Nothing works, and I'm being blamed for
Your shower.
it. The shower works. No, the shower works, but I can't use it because it leaks.
Toby says you're right to just step in and have a look.
Yeah. So the problem with the shower, so that has been flooded for 6 months. That shower. Toby. So the surveyor came. So that here, all that needs to be knocked. So the reason why that had broken is because there were sponges in here. Okay? Because I couldn't mop up. I couldn't stand like I'm standing now. Barely standing. So there was sponges in here which is £300 you owe me, £300 for 2 futons, where I put the sponge in there and got my private cleaner to get the sponge out, to soak it up very quickly. Because after a repair, it's then leaking again. So because this whole floor needs to be concreted, it's all rotten underneath. So the vinyl needs to come out. That was promised to me in August 2024.
Okay.
So that concrete has to come out. The concrete has to be reconcreted, and I saw them put that tray on top of a rough foundation when I was hopping on one leg in 2017, and I reported it. Soon after that, one of the walls had collapsed. So it was a very bad installation.
Sure.
So therefore, I cannot use it. They may fix it here and there and patch it up, but the doors, even with these curtains inside the cubicle, it's still leaking because it's not built properly.
Okay.
No, it's the same day, the 24th of April, that had leaked. And then that had leaked. So 2 rooms are leaking since the 24th of April this year. And then they moved things in bags and boxes in here. And they moved my bed in here. No one has moved the bed out, which I want to move out of that room. I don't want to be sleeping in that room for obvious reasons. So let's go in the dining room. Oh, please come to me in the dining room. So the kitchen also has a big bin. Can you see that big bin in the kitchen? Yeah. So I'll just let you sit down. There's plenty of chairs here.
Oh, there is.
This is my bird pet.
Oh, lovely.
Come in, all of you. You can sit down all. Right.
Who wants to say?
I'll stand.
I'm
I'm just,
You've got chairs. Oh, I'll just move this out the way.
Actually, it's nice to not have to, when you're in a
No,
class,
please,
not
please,
have to stand.
Please take a seat. I'll be a bit offended if you don't. It's a bit.
I would prefer to, personally.
But anyone else, would you like to take a seat?
in the office all day, so I sit down.
Yeah, it's
all
nice
day.
for us to stretch our legs sometimes.
Right, so I've done enough talking. I'll let you do all the talking and I'll remain silent.
So, what we're here to do is obviously I've brought Toby with me. So, Toby, have you got a note of sort of what things need doing? You know what needs sorting?
yeah, I mean.
Can you do you have a measuring thing there, Toby?
Within my bag, yes.
Could you? Yeah, because I am looking to have a discrimination solicitor come to help me, because this has gone on long enough, and I'm not recording for my sake to know what your plans are, so that I know that it's not only about your ideas and concepts of blaming the situation on me. That's why I'm recording, to see if you will actually put into practice what you say you're going to.
That's fine.
Because the trust has been broken since Samantha.
I understand that, but it would have been nice to have been told that we were being recorded as a whole, because we never consented to being recorded.
Well, I do apologise.
Staff. So that's what I'm saying. You can record. I'm happy for that. There's nothing that we haven't said.
Yeah, my trust has been broken, and this is hence why I'm looking for legal action. Because, sorry about this.
No, I was just going to say, so Toby, in terms of what your plans are, what are your plans?
Well, it's take down the ceiling within the facing bedroom.
Yeah.
If that's what we're classing as.
Yeah.
Bedroom. I'll reboard it, skin it, and redecorate it.
Do you agree to do that after my summer holidays? Because I have said I want, after this week in June and July, I want to be left alone so that I can
How urgent
enjoy
is it
my
needed?
summer.
When's your summer holiday? Do you know?
After
July?
this week,
Okay. And for how long?
for until the end. So I said you can start everything in August, so that will give you ample of time to get everything organised.
So I'm saying what, 2 months?
Is that safe? That's my main concern. Is can that job wait? And that's what my worry. I completely respect your
So
holidays.
you're doing it for your convenience and not my convenience. Again, this is such hypocrisy.
The first
This
comment
is
you
such
said was that the
hypocrisy.
reason you were ringing in was because
It's-
you were worried about. Excuse me, can I please finish? Well, you were worried about the urgency of the root of the ceiling collapsing. So if it is that urgent, which is why I'm asking Toby, who is the trained surveyor, to assess the situation, leaving it 2 months could be detrimental, which is why I'm asking, can it be left? If it can, great. If it can't, then we
What
will
do you
need
think?
to action.
Do you think it could be?
Which is why I'm asking
I'd
Toby.
like to untake the remedials earlier than 2 months. I do think 2 months is pushing. If there's any more water damage, that could.
Well,
exacerbate the
it's caused me health conditions, and it's caused me problems. So I need time
So-
out to take to. You have not helped me for the whole month of May to move that bed out of that room, and it's caused me health conditions. It's caused me, and I need to recover from that.
Can I just interject there?
And I also need time to seek for legal support. I've got a huge pile of bundles of trying to find several people that would represent me, and that I don't want workers coming in and out while I'm looking for legal help. That's a distraction.
No, I understand. Can I
And
just interject there 1 second? I think with the front-facing bedroom there, I mean, I completely take on board. Could we do maybe sort of, partner, maybe section that off for the period of time until
Yeah.
you're ready for us to come in and do the works? How does that sound?
yeah, could you do that this week, possibly?
I'll have to speak with some colleagues, but let's see what we can do.
Because if I'm
Maybe
leaving
like a
this
temporary
property,
barrier or something,
like
to
a
just
temp-
say.
yeah, to stay out of there. So I'm not going in that room, because you can see it's all like an umbrella shape. It's all buckled down, bowed, and that's why I was panicking. I was thinking, which is a good paranoia. It's not a bad paranoia, but I'm avoiding that room at all costs. But the other room is not as bad, the one I'm in, but the memories, the psychological abuse, thinking, it's really bad. You have got subcontractors coming here. I think 4 or 5 times a year. So how can this happen? You already knew. I pre-told you in January, 3 months before the incident of the emergency. I was informing the fire and safety regulations officer, the same person who visited me for a 2-hour meeting on the 22nd of August, whose name is Stephen McAlinden, and he agreed that it is in his remit to go into the loft to check that it is locked, first of all, for security, and to check that there's no leak in there. He had agreed to do that. He said he did that in August and that he did that in January, and he couldn't see the leak. So prevention is better than cause. I didn't think he was competent in his job. Why would he say there's no leak when obviously there is? And I did say I could see yellow stains on the ceiling, and so therefore there must be a leak. So all of this could have prevented. All my paperwork was damaged. The extent of
But
my
he's
books
fire
being
safety
damaged.
officer. He's not a plumber, so maybe I'm not
He said it
excusing.
was in his remit.
I
He
understand
said
that, but what I'm saying is, unless you've got a plumber to really do the works and look into
he
it,
also said that you had
probably wouldn't be able
experts
to.
who's your subcontractor going there regularly. So you got a subcontractor going up there regularly anyway.
Do we?
Yes, you do.
Possibly on the fire safety side of things.
No, they go up there to check the boiler. That's what they told me.
Boiler access.
And I said to Samantha, how come?
Once a year.
Yeah, yeah,
Have
so,
to look at what's tanks in the loft space, possibly.
yeah,
That would only be Legionella, that wouldn't be
that's
from
right.
anybody who's
Yeah.
technically.
Part of Thrive.
Yeah,
Oh, no, but they'd only be checking for Legionella risk, which is
That's what I mean. They
not,
wouldn't be
they wouldn't be
looking for
looking for
anything
leaks or
further.
anything like that.
Yeah.
yeah. And so, I've got, yeah, so a lot of my books were damaged, which were expensive, and my paperworks were damaged. So I'm looking to see if I can have compensation. I had an animal sofa where the animals were running in. Charlie Kelly had took it away free of charge for me, which was kind because the animals. I was stuck in one room at winter when there was no central heating and things got accumulated, and because I kept trying to keep warm in the winter time because there was no boiler, and even in the new year when I had a new boiler, it had wrong parts in there and parts were missing. And I said, "What the hell? Why parts missing in a new boiler?" So for 2 years, I had extreme difficulties of new boiler and the 15-year-old old boiler. And every winter there was problems with my central heating, which was a total
Have you got
nightmare.
heating now?
Yes, it's fixed now, but it seems to be fixed when you're in the wrong season. When you need it the most, sod's law, it breaks down. And so I was stuck in one room, which was the main room that's the most damaged, the front facing room of the building. That was the one that was most damaged, and I couldn't understand why I was stuck there, why it took so long to repair the heating. My animal didn't have the cage that she has now. She's got a huge cage now. Got replaced with the old cage. My bird has a big cage behind you, so she sometimes goes in there, but I need to give her a replacement perch, so she flies from there to there when the door is shut. And hello, Shashasha, we're talking about you. Shashasha, and she is enjoying the window. She sees other birds, but with my rabbit, I had the cage collapse because it was a very bad mate, and I had no help. So I had to phone my foster mum, who's almost 90 years old. Can you imagine someone who's almost 90 years old helping me to get rid of the cage that had collapsed, and my rabbit had to run around
So what
free?
animals do you currently have?
I have one rabbit, one bird, and one hamster.
Got ya.
Do you have the form? I did ask you to bring the form with you.
It was sent out, I believe, if I'm wrong, so it should
I
have
haven't
received.
received it, no.
Okay, I can resend. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. So that I also had an accident. My rabbit sister had died because I accidentally dropped her litter box on top of her because it was too heavy for me to carry it, and it was causing me a grievance losing my rabbit. It was her sister, so I did have two rabbits. But in an emergency situation, this is why rubbish accumulated. And he got rid of that sofa that the rabbits destroyed. We were both stuck in that room. So now that there is that cage, which is nice and big, it's big enough to put you in it. In there, it's so big, you know. She helps motivate me every day to take care of her. She's like a therapy pet. I don't have cats or dogs. Never. I've never had cats and dogs. I don't take creative drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. Don't have criminal records. I'm a Christian. I'm humbled. You know, if I've done something wrong, you'll be the first one you hear an apology for. But in this instant, I know that I haven't done anything wrong. And I don't know why, out of the blue, neighbours are talking badly about me when I did tell them that there was an incident of what I told you earlier. I don't have to repeat myself. And it was distressing me because obviously I like to have my liberty. I like to have fresh air out of the window and peace and quiet. So they've misunderstood me. She didn't really want to talk to me. Even though I said I didn't feel safe and I had to record it because I didn't feel safe. Because it's teaching the children to be hooligans, and it's teaching the children it's okay to go and vandalize fences. And therefore, if their parents are teaching them that, I didn't feel safe. So I didn't know whose the children belonged to, and I went to make inquiries, and that was a one-off. I haven't made any other inquiries since because they said it's nothing to do with them.
I appreciate what you've said. I understand what you've said.
Yeah.
Your point has been taken, and I get it.
Yeah.
When obviously I know there's going to be some times, and that's just how life works, where I disagree with you, you disagree with me. We see different views on things, and that's, that is just how it works. Obviously, with our jobs, we're kind of all bounded by law and legislation. So absolutely,
we didn't disagree. We agreed with each other. You were talking about a subject that wasn't relevant, so you were talking about your policies rather than the incident.
And this is what I was just going to get onto. With the regards to the leaks and the repairs,
we misunderstood each other.
Absolutely, I understand that the repairs need doing. Absolutely, I understand that the leak needs. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
The leak needs sorting. If there's any repairs issues, Toby can raise them. Toby, if you could make a list and send it to me, then if you're happy, I'll compile a letter with all the points that we've discussed as well.
My blood pressure has gone up. I've become very sick. My GP will be writing to you say that I need my rest. And obviously, I have had a lot of grief in my life. I just need some. Yeah, because I was shaking. I was really thinking that ceiling was going to fall down, because I had someone professional do the testing, and he said it was plasterboard.
So would you be happy just as a takeaway action then? If you would like your summer break, your holidays, that's absolutely fine, I get that. Are you happy for that room then to be kept off limits?
Yeah.
and then work commences in August, unless there is an emergency situation where we would need to bring it forward.
Can I have your number, Tony, in case it does collapse?
Be the 0800, just in case it's out of order.
I'd call the 0800 number, because if I'm not in work,
or out of office,
or it's over a weekend or in the evenings, I think you'd be a little bit more successful in finding a remedy.
Yeah, but the problem is when I call reception, they refuse to talk to me, and how arrogant can you get? They will say, we can't talk to you at all. You have to go through Casey.
So there is a behaviour contract that you probably received that was sent in the post by the managers, so again above our heads, which was that I would contact you once a week and we would have all the discussions about what he's doing, keeping everything, because of the customer service team, and I'll be completely honest, felt that there was a level of abuse towards them.
No, they were abusing me. They were the ones who put the phone down on me, not the other way around.
They put the phone down because of the way that the conversation was going. They felt that there was a level of behaviour that wasn't acceptable, which is why that's now been drawn up. So when they're saying that they can't speak to you, the reason is because there's now a behaviour contract in place which says I will make contact with you once a week on a Monday between the hours of 9 to 5, I think it is, and we can discuss anything he's doing. I can update you on stuff. I can speak to.
But that's not good enough. So if a ceiling collapses in the middle of the week, I have to wait until Monday to speak to you.
There is a clause in there now that does say unless it is urgent. Right. So if it is urgent, you can call in. Absolutely, no one's stopping.
So how long will this behaviour thing last? Because of the concept of your reception.
What do you mean, sorry?
Because of the concept of how they perceive me to be.
That isn't my concept.
It's their concept. So I didn't say it was your concept.
So there's been different. Obviously, you've spoken to multiple different people, and I think I've spoken to
a Wendy, I've spoken to a Jackie and somebody else.
So I think
how are they now judging me based on the fact that they didn't like me, which is now
it's not they didn't like you, they didn't like the way the conversation was going.
I didn't slander at them.
No, they felt that it was quite I think you'd have to ask them how they specifically felt, but the nature of the context was that they almost.
Why am I being persecuted because of them?
Because at the end of the day, staff are feeling a type of way. They felt like they were being abused over the phone when there was calls.
They were abusing me.
And I'm not saying that was right or wrong. I'm not here. I wasn't witness to it. That's how they felt, which is why a decision was made off the back of that from their managers.
Why was a decision made without consulting me by the managers above?
That decision doesn't have to be made with your consent.
It should be, because they're judging me wrongly.
But that isn't, and I think we can keep going round in circles. At the end of the day, we need to identify.
I don't want to be involved in their decision making or their judgment. They have no right to do that. It's illegal for them to judge me based on a telephone conversation.
But if they felt a certain way, that still doesn't mean that their feelings are invalid.
Well, it doesn't mean that my feelings are invalid. They put the phone down on me.
It's not about
if someone put the phone down on you in an emergency, if someone put the phone down on you in an emergency situation, you would be flustered. So I was flustered. Okay, so the fact that they kept doing that provoked me to anger, and I'm very rarely angry. I'm very slow in anger. So they provoked me to anger. They caused this situation.
I think regardless it's out of our hands, okay, in terms of it's
I
not
don't
my
have that behavioural thing. You'll have to send it. It must have been lost in the post.
Yeah, I can get them to resend it again. That isn't.
How long will it last?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can confirm when I get back. I think it's just for a period of time until the behaviour ceases to look like it's changing. With regards to, I'm just going to go.
You can update it after our conversation today and say I was number one provoked, number two I was flustered because I wasn't listened to.
And you on that letter there
and
is
number
the opportunity to.
I felt it was the other way around. They disregarded my logic, my intellect. They insulted my intelligence.
But I don't want you to feel like
and
we are.
I was not aware of the fact. I was not aware of the fact that you were a single point of contact. It was told to me round the bushes, behind the scenes. And so I was it had a surprise element to it. They didn't tell me that you were the single point of contact, and this is what caused the confusion, and it caused me to keep chasing and phoning back.
And I think as well, the reason that I'm the single point of contact is that Above and Thrive have decided, because of the potentially the tenancy conditions, so in terms of the condition of the property, the repairs that need doing and things like that, if you were to not liaise with me, they wouldn't access another single point of contact because you've already had a few. And therefore they would look to get an injunction. So that's why I just want you to be made aware.
You cancelled me twice. You did a cancel. No, it's nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me whatsoever.
It shouldn't be about me and you or how you feel towards me. I'm purely here to say Toby's here to do a job. Dawn and Dan are here to assess the situation. We have to move forward from it or we're not going to get anywhere.
Because me and Dan, we have another visit in half an hour. So if you don't mind, can I go around with Toby and we'll have a look to see what works need to be done? So the bathroom, obviously the front bedroom, are you happy?
Then you can report that to us and we can make sure that that's actioned.
Yeah.
And so you understand. That's okay. I won't say anything else now. I'll let you have a look.
Go on, you say that.
So before you go, do you agree to give a improvement notice to Thrive Homes?
Improvement notice issued, we must allow Thrive to undertake the works. If they don't undertake the works within a specific time frame or within a reasonable time frame, we then will issue the improvement.
But they haven't. That's not reasonable. For the whole month of May, they did nothing.
But that's historic.
How is it historic?
You have now told us about this complaint, so I will now be following from today.
I mean, I contacted the council, I think it was in the middle of May, when I told you about it.
We've only received one report from you, and I followed that up with call to you.
Yeah.
But I can check our records. That's absolutely fine.
I did report it earlier, so I don't think it's right.
You allowing us access, and that kind of stuff, then obviously we can get the job moving a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think you're blaming me why you delayed the job.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the room.
And you're protecting Thrive Homes, you're not protecting me. Also, I haven't had a confirmation that you're going to move my bed out of that room.
We wouldn't be liable to move your bed.
So I have to find someone else to do it.
We wouldn't move anyone's bed or stuff.
Okay, so I'll let you go, and I don't want you mentioning the flies, okay?
We do have to give an accurate report, and there are a lot of flies.
Yeah, there are flies coming from the window because the windows are open.
Condition does need looking at.
Okay, so what's wrong with my property condition?
It does need it clean. Okay, it's not up to tenancy standards. Okay. So
yeah, that's discrimination.
I'm explaining what? We need to make sure the works are done. If you need extra support, we can put support and we can look at different ways of support. But it does need to maintain the standards.
Can you tell me what needs to be cleaned? As a disabled woman, you're discriminating against me.
We have many people that are disabled, okay, that find ways to keep their property, whether that's looking at a cleaner maybe. There's different options. We can look at adult social care if you'd like them involved. There's other options.
I don't want adult social care involved. So you've got that. You've got that. You've got that, have you?
Pardon?
You can get that updated on your records. I don't want social workers involved.
But then it may come to a point where later on we will have to look at legal action if the repairs aren't done, if the tenancy isn't maintained.
But I don't agree with you that my home isn't clean enough and that I'm hoarding. I don't agree with that.
I mean, as an environmental and as an opinion that isn't Thrive, what would be your findings?
I would say it's very low level, or if you were going to call it it's low level. It ain't terrible.
It's not my fault that this room is so small. It's a small room.
You know, you've lost a room, so obviously that's going to factor into why you've got stuff on top of stuff. I think, you know, just looking at the floors and the ceilings, there is some. I mean, again, I appreciate, obviously, you know, with your disability, you may not be able to reach ceilings to get the cobwebs, and, you know, I don't know what that is.
What cobwebs?
Oh, sorry, in the upper room, there's a lot of cobwebs. But just, I was going to ask you anyway, just what's above your...
What cobweb?
No, sorry, not in this room, in the room that we first were in, there was a lot of cobwebs.
There are some.
You mean in the bin area? The bin room has cobwebs.
No, sorry, where the flooding happened in the first room where we were standing at the beginning.
So where you were standing at the beginning?
It's just
I appreciate if you didn't record my face. I'm happy for you to record, you know.
Because I think it's not fair that for the whole month of May... Can you have a copy of it?
Like I said,
through my solicitor you can.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not... You know, she just asked my opinion, and that would be my opinion.
I think it's unfair that you would look at the cleanliness of a situation, particularly after a flooding and things going in boxes and boxes and bags.
I get the flooding, absolutely, I get that.
Why would you attack?
More the generic cleanliness of the floors, and obviously the flies and issues like that.
But you're being a perfectionist. No, you're expecting my home to be perfect in an emergency situation.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Yes, you are.
I can happily send you the tenancy so you can have a look at it and see where I'm.
Right, I'm not able to hoover, and I'm not able to afford to have a professional cleaner here. I already pay £200 a month for a rubbish collection because the council has stopped my rubbish services that were free of charge.
That isn't actually our bins.
There's
That's not
one.
Three Rivers,
There's
is it?
one Three Rivers bin.
And the
Yeah.
other one's a decorum.
Yeah, they're my bins. I purchased them.
Right. Okay. We will get that all written up then.
Yeah, can I speak to the lady whose name is Dawn?
Dawn. Yeah. No,
Yeah. This I did go to the Citizens Advice Bureau and said that I've had these services for free where they would have assisted rubbish taken at the main door, and they stopped it. They've politicized it and said you have to now pay for it. So that's why I can't afford a cleaner, as I'm paying a lot of money to have a private rubbish collection collect my rubbish. As I can't, there's no lift here, so I cannot have both of the best worlds. I can have one and not the other.
I'll have a look at that. I'll speak with Environmental Protection,
If I-
do the bins, and I'll have a look.
I'd be really grateful, because then I'd have the money for the cleaner to do the hoovering and the mopping, because I find it nearly impossible to do it myself on a regular basis.
Leave that.
So
Leave that with
there's
me.
a maid to clean. There's a maid to clean available. I am on their waiting list that they can come as a one-off. But if I didn't have the private bin man, which is £200 a month, which is an exploitation of me. Can you imagine £200 a month going out from your benefits? I could spend that on medication and cleaners.
Well, I'll look into the assisted collection and
Thank
as to trying to get that back up for you.
Thank you.
Once I find out the reason why they stopped it, or whether or not they'll put
They
it
said
in
it was
place.
because of COVID. However, COVID is not the case
COVID's
anymore.
not a thing anymore.
Exactly.
So I'll follow that up.
Yeah.
I followed up the disrepairs with Toby.
Yeah.
I guess that will all be written up
Yeah.
and given to you.
Yeah. Also, regarding Thrive Homes, if it is the case that you couldn't have moved my bin, why didn't you tell me that? Why did you give me the false impression that you could possibly move my bed?
I can't
My
discuss
bed.
what was obviously. I can't say what was discussed previous to us being involved.
Yeah.
We have to start from now, and I'm just obviously
Yeah.
explaining to you.
We're having a fresh start. We're having a fresh start now. However, you do understand where I'm coming from. I made inquiries. Could someone move my bed? And I did that once every week.
I can't answer because I
And
haven't
they
seen
gave me
that.
the impression that they were, and then they changed their mind and
So
said they
just to
can't.
sort of clarify for you, we wouldn't look to move your bed.
Well, they did say at the reception that she was going to pass that information on.
They've probably got that a bit mistaken, so apologies for that.
And
but
that's
we
not my
wouldn't.
error. So I just felt very, very let down and very much not supported by Thrive Homes. If you're going to say something and then change your mind later, it's like you're making policies and rules to suit only yourself.
Okay, well, I think we've got what we can get from now. Okay.
So I have to find someone who will do it for me.
Correct.
So now I know, I
And
understand.
that's why I did say I can
But
put
for the
referrals
whole month
into
of
other
May,
services, but you
however,
wouldn't
for
like
the
that.
whole month of May, I was misunderstood and I was misguided by Thrive Homes.
Okay. Apologies if that is how you feel, and I know there has been some.
It's not how I feel, it's what I've experienced. These are facts.
I'm sorry if that's what you have experienced.
Yeah.
I can't clarify on everything.
Yeah.
I've not been privy to every conversation or calling or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just here now.
Did you hear what I
forward.
said to this lady
Yes,
called
I just
called Dawn? She was going to reinstate, hopefully, God willing. As a Christian lady, I've also asked charity from a church to help assist me with rubbish. There's no lift here, so I cannot. I can try do something. I'm not a total retard, so I can put them in little bags and go downstairs and put it outside the wheelie bin.
Yeah.
But at my own risk, because I can't use this and bin bags in the other hand going down the stairs.
Are you happy to look at downsizing?
Yes, I am, as long as I know that you can remove yourself as a single point of contact and find someone else who's an expert in downsizing.
So
yes, I am. But I did, the reason why I mentioned Samantha is because I was not aware of the fact it was a single point of contact. I had no idea.
Well, I can go back to the drawing board on Thursday.
That's the truth. Hand on my chest.
And have the conversation that you don't want me as a single point of contact.
So I do appreciate that.
How that will then, that's a decision then that they can have above and have that conversation with you.
I appreciate it. I don't have to shake my hand, but you can see me nod in
I
can nod in respect.
I can do that.
But because I had problems, ongoing problems with Samantha, that she would say something and then contradict what she said.
Well, I can only promise, if you're happy for me to, I can check in with you in a week's time.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that these conversations are had. And
yeah, I do. I always wanted to downsize, and I always wanted to move. With Thrive Homes, I don't want to leave Thrive Homes. That was never my intention. But at the same time, I don't want to be rushed because of my health condition. I need find someone to help me unpack. She gave me money to be replaced in a van, but there was no mention at all about finding the support for someone to help me unpack. Can you imagine getting a van to move and then
just a quick one, and then we will have to go, but just a quick one. This is why we would put referrals into social services, we put referrals into Hearts Help, because we don't offer that kind of service.
I've had Hearts Help, and
social services and Hearts
my
Help
experience, it was not good because it made more delays.
Would
I
you
need
take
someone.
A referral from, just asking the question, I won't do it if you don't want to, but would you take a referral from social care in terms of helping, just if you need any extra help?
No, I need to manage things myself. I need someone who would come to an understanding with me and someone who is honest with me. And that bad experience of having that dishonesty and contradiction has put me off these services.
No, that's fine. Okay, we'll get going. Sorry, I'm cautious that you're late.
Yeah. So we understand each other now from today's date.
That's fine. And like I said,
so hands on my chest, I show you my respect. No handshake needed.
But I will have a meeting on Thursday.
But you do understand why I haven't got a cleaner and why I haven't got the machine to kill the flies. I have no money because it's all going towards the private rubbish collection.
And that's fine. I can have a conversation, okay?
Okay then. Fingers up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Enjoy.